This is the housing selection guide for step 4, choosing a room or apartment.
In order to select a room, you need a selection time. Selection times are used to put everyone in a line so each person has to wait for their turn. Otherwise, it's like the chaos of Black Friday, and we really don't want you to choose your housing like that. The residence hall selection processes are same hall, any hall, and individual bed. Until you or your roommate choose a room, you'll be included in each selection process you're eligible for. So, for same hall selection, you will only receive a selection time if you currently live in a residence hall. For apartment selection, you'll only receive a selection time if your group received an apartment guarantee from the apartment raffle. Typically, the team captain is the person in your roommate group with the earliest selection time. They log in to pick the room at or after their selection time. The longer your captain waits after their time to select a room, the fewer options will be available because more people have access to select a room. The only exception to this team captain rule happens during the same hall selection. Since you can only select a room in the hall you currently live in, and your roommate can only select a hall in the room they currently live in, whoever lives in the hall you want to live in needs to be the one to select the room. So in this particular case, the captain is the person with the earliest selection time for the hall you want to live in. Selection times will be available on Housing Self-Service by noon the day before each selection process, and the housing office will send you a personalized email with your specific selection time. 5 minutes before the selection time, the team captain should log into Housing Self-Service to preview what's available. Remember that you won't be able to pick anything until your actual selection time arrives. From the menu, select Room Selection, then click Select a Room or Suite in the menu bar. On the next screen, you'll see your eligibility time and your roommate group. If you're eligible to begin your selection, make sure your roommate group is correct before you move on to select a room or apartment. Now you can scroll through to see any rooms that are available for you to select during this process. Remember, you can only finalize selecting a room that your roommate group can fill. To see more details about available rooms, click on Floor Plan or View Floor Roster. Remember, even though some rooms show as available during this process, they've been set aside on each floor for incoming students. So if no rooms show in this list or you receive an error message, there's a few possibilities why that's happening. First, check the date and time to make sure it's actually your time to select. Second, it's possible you or your roommate aren't actually eligible for the option you're searching for, so double check with them. And finally, it's possible that the rooms that will fit your group are full, or you don't actually have a matched roommate at all, so that it's not going to show you anything until individual bed selection. To figure out which reason applies to you, go ahead and go back to your Housing Self-Service main page and make sure your selection time, as well as your roommate group, are current and correct. The price of each room is listed under the room, but you may want to get an idea of pricing ahead of time. Feel free to take a look at what options make the most sense for you and your budget in the upcoming year. When you go to select a room or suite or apartment, please pay attention to the room types and prices. For example, a Blackstone Economy Double is smaller and more affordable than a Blackstone Large Double. Also, in addition to our medical or ADA singles and Hope or Horton, we will once again have designated singles and Blackstone and Sigma halls only. A limited number of double rooms will be converted to single rooms, and the price point will be 1.5 times the price of a double room in these buildings. These rooms can be selected during the individual selection and will not be visible during same hall or any hall selection. Also, once again this year we will be offering all-female, 2-bedroom, 5-person apartments located in the La Mirada apartment. If it's near the end of a selection process, it's possible the available rooms that will fit your group have already been taken in that hall. So follow us on Twitter at Biola Housing or view our Twitter feed on Housing Self-Service, since we'll be live tweeting updates about what is no longer available throughout each selection process. The good news is we've never had to turn somebody away from selecting a room in their same building any of these years. And just a quick reminder, if you and your roommate are trying to select a different building than you currently live in, don't select a room during same hall. You can select any available room during the any hall selection process. Also, if you don't want any of the options listed and you're not required to live on campus, simply do not select a room and unmatch from any roommate so that they don't select a room for you either. If you don't want the room or apartment you selected, click the back button to view the options again. Once you select I agree, submit my room selection, you have reached the point of no return and your choice is final. So make sure you click that button intentionally. Once you click I agree and submit your room selection for you and your roommate, the contract is in full effect for all of you, including the cancellation fees if you change your mind. The cancellation fees usually amount to 2 months' rent, which can be well over $1,000. Once you complete the final step to select a room, you'll see a confirmation page, and you and your roommates will also receive confirmation emails immediately after you pick it. If you don't see these things, you haven't actually selected the room. Also, housing self-service on the main page will now show your future room assignment for fall and spring. Once you're finished selecting the room, it's time to celebrate that you have officially successfully completed Biola housing selection. We recommend you guys load up in a car, drive to downtown Fullerton, and treat yourself to something yummy to celebrate. If you'd like to watch any of other housing selection videos, feel free to visit our website, biola.edu/housing. And if you have any questions, give us a call, 562-903-6000, extension 5838, and we'd be happy to assist you however we can. Thanks for your time.